Hello everybody, my name is Kaczmar and you're watching Geek Factor TV. In today's episode I'll be talking about SUPERHOT the card game. Now SUPERHOT the card game is a little card game designed by Manuel Correa and about to be published by board&dice Publishing, which sent me this little game for reviewing, for which I say thank you. Now this is a demo version, which means this is not the actual version that's going to come out. Now what's happening is on July 31st the Kickstarter campaign launched, or will launch depending on when you watch this clip, and the goal is to fund this game. So let's see what I think. Well, first of all, before we get to what I think, if you're interested in watching a tutorial video that will teach you how to play this game, please go ahead and click right here and that link will take you straight to the tutorial. Here, let's focus on my thoughts, what I think about the game. Now, Manuel Correa, the designer of this game, also designed, and the game was published by board&dice, he designed a game called Multi-Universum. Multi-Universum was a little card game that ended up being on my top 10 favorite games of 2016. So naturally, when I heard that he is going to be the one designing the SUPERHOT game, well, that got me excited. So now, one more remark. This is a very long intro. One more remark, I have not actually played the SUPERHOT video game. This SUPERHOT video game is something that this is actually obviously based on, if you know. But I did watch quite a few gameplay videos on YouTube. Two things struck me when I was watching the gameplay videos of SUPERHOT. The first being obviously the graphic design, which looked fantastic, it looked original, so it really was like, wow, this is actually something new and interesting. So I was curious about how that would translate into the card game. Now I gotta say, it translates extremely well. Obviously we can't really credit the card game for having excellent graphics because they came from the video game, but as you probably know, often when you're dealing with those licensed games and you see actual graphics from the game or from the source material on the cards, they tend to be a bit hit and miss, meaning that sometimes a photo or a still will look great on a card, but sometimes it will look as if somebody just went, we need something here, we need this character here, so just, let's do it. Well, it doesn't feel that way here. Here everything fits perfectly and it seems as though those illustrations were designed specifically for the game, and that makes it look really, really well. And the whole thing looks really great. When you set it out in front of you on the table, you'd actually feel as if you're in that particular, well, location, you can say, as if you're actually playing this game, playing the video game, because it just looks nice. It looks really well. So kudos for translating the graphic design of the video game into this little card game. The second thing that struck me is obviously the thing that the video game is very famous for, which is the whole aspect of time moving only when you're moving. Now I was wondering, how are they going to do that? How are they going to figure it into the mechanics of the card game, and so in a way that it makes sense? Well, if you watched already the tutorial and you know how the game works, then you know that it's all about the center line. The center line basically represents this is like a first-person view of where you're going, and you're seeing various things like tables, like pillars, and you're encountering enemies. They're coming at you left and right, and you move through that location, dealing with all those things through playing cards from your hand. Now, depending on how many cards from your hand you play, the center line will move, and this thing will get closer to you eventually. And that makes sense. It's brilliant. It's smart. It's quite simple actually. But when you think about it, it's brilliant in its simplicity, because it actually gives you the feeling of, okay, I want to be careful this turn, so I'll just play this one card to take care of this thing, and this center line will only move one spot. So it makes sense. It makes sense logically. It makes sense thematically, and it's just, well, it helps build up the tension. And this is another thing that I was kind of worried about, because I'm always worried about whenever I see a video game being translated into a board game or a card game. Like, can you really replicate the feeling you get when you play the video game, which is often, you know, when you feel tension, you feel danger. Can you really get that the same way when you play a card game, for example? This one does it. This one comes as close to being a proper first-person shooter as you can possibly get with basically a single deck of cards. Because like I said, and it goes back to this whole aspect of time moving, the line moving when you're moving, because you're just going there and you're just seeing those, okay, I'm seeing this guy, so I'm just, yeah, I'm not going to do anything about it this time, so he's just slowly moving closer to you. And you see all those things, and they're just coming at you, and you have to constantly be making decisions. Lots of decision making in this game. So if you like this sort of thing, you'll love what you see here, because there's lots of heavy decision making, and sometimes those decisions can be tough, because everything in this game is important. Yet another thing that I like about it, it's not like, okay, so, okay, let's just, I have to do this because I just have to do it. And yeah, that's basically it. No. When you go like, okay, I'm gonna need some dodge cards, and you need dodge cards in your gameplay, trust me. I'm gonna need some dodge cards, so, okay, let's get it. But no, you know what, I'm also gonna need this. And that card is quite cool. And then there's this flying bullet that I kinda have to take care of. So I would have to play 5 cards from my hand, but then this whole thing will move, and that means that something new will appear, and I have no idea what's coming. And there you go. That's the spot you find yourself at quite often while playing this game. And that's amazing. That's exactly what I'm looking for when I'm playing a tense video first-person shooter. Now, I don't play them as much as I used to, but every time I did, this is exactly what I was going for. Okay, I'm gonna go there, but there's something might be right behind that corner. I don't know if I'm ready to face that. And this is what you're thinking about when you're playing this game. So thematically, it makes perfect sense, and thematically you actually feel like you're going through it all. Now, another thing that I was worried about is the replayability of it all, because I was just worried that, okay, you have a single deck of cards, this demo version features only a solo variant, so I was like, is it gonna be really replayable? Yes, it will, because of those gold cards. Gold cards, and here's my suggestion for you guys when you play the game. Do not look at the gold cards before you shuffle them, before you actually start playing. Trust me, it makes it a lot more fun when you don't know what's coming, when you have no idea what could be coming. This is amazing. This just helped me. I was just something, I'm not gonna read those, just came up with it, and it just helps make the game a lot more fun. So if you want to, if you feel like it, don't read the gold cards before you actually start playing the game. Now, because of the different things you have to do, because of the various objectives you see on those cards, this is exactly what helps the replayability, because every single time you have a new goal, you play differently, you make decisions differently, while remembering that everything is important. You have to have the attack cards, you have to have the dodge cards, you have to have cards that let you deal with flying bullets or that let you heal bullets from your hand, you have to have the cards that allow you to draw other cards. A lot of it is important, but you still have to be focused on achieving that goal if you want to progress further in the game. Listen, like I said, this is a solitaire game. I mean, the demo version that I received is a solitaire variant, and this is going to be, from what I heard, the basic variant of the game. There are going to be other variants where you can play 2 players against the system, or 1 player will be able to play the system while the other 2 will try to beat it. So there are going to be other variants that you will be able to read about on the Kickstarter page. But this is a solitaire version. Now, please do not dismiss it as like, oh, it's just a easy, simple solitaire game, like a throwaway kind of game. It's not. It really isn't. It really involves your brain on levels that I did not expect, even more than Multi-Universum, because this was another thing that I liked about Multi-Universum, is it really required you to engage every single little bit of your brain. Now, I always respect that. Whenever you can pack this much thinking and this much game into a little box, it just, to me, it deserves respect. And this is exactly what happened here. With this deck of cards, there is so much thinking, there is so much tough decision making, that sometimes you will find yourself at a spot where you're going like, I really regret playing this right now, I am so not ready to deal with this intellectually. And trust me, I mean, I like it, because this is a game that really challenges you. Now, what might be a bit off-putting for some people, but only slightly, I think, is the thing that this is a difficult game. I have played this several times by now. I haven't won a single time. So it might be a bit off-putting, because sometimes this is not a forgiving game. If you make too many mistakes, and sometimes too many means 2 or 3 mistakes in a game, you're gonna lose. So those decisions that you make, they have to be thought out carefully, because every single decision has consequences. Like I said, the time moves when you move, the center line will move. So whatever number of cards you play, you make sure you want to play those cards. If you don't, wait it out. There's no fault in waiting. So, but this is why I'm saying this is not a forgiving game, because if you make a mistake, it will come back to haunt you in just a second. So, this game is tough. This is what I'm basically saying. This is a hard game. This is not an easy game. It really requires a lot of thinking, a lot of decision making. But I personally, I like that, because this, to me, this somehow this builds up this whole mood of this discipline. It requires discipline, and it practices your discipline, and this is what I like about games like that. This is, I'm really have to focus. This is the part of my brain that I'm exercising right now. Focus, discipline, decision making. And so listen, for a small deck of cards, for basically a game where the basic variant is a solo variant, this is amazing. I really suggest you should give it a shot. If you're a fan of the SUPERHOT video game, trust me, you could not get any closer to getting that feeling from playing the game as you do with this one, with this little gem. Now, this is one of the first games that I played that are published in 2017, so 2017 for me is off to a great start, because I'm loving this, and this is already a very solid candidate for top 10 of 2017. I'll definitely remember this game when I'm putting my top 10 favorite games of 2017 come December, January. So on behalf of Geek Factor TV, I'm giving this game a solid 9.5 out of 10. I love this game and I definitely recommend it. Now, like I said, this is if it's already past January 31st, then go down to the description. You'll see a link taking you to the Kickstarter page. If it's before January 31st, then wait a bit. I'll put the link below once the Kickstarter campaign launches. So trust me, for this price, this is a great game. For this small deck, this is a brilliant. There's a lot of game in here. I strongly recommend you check this out. Thank you to board&dice for supplying me with this demo version of the game. I'm looking forward to seeing the final product, and that's basically it. If you have any questions, if you have any remarks, please comment below. I don't usually do videos in English. This is actually my first full-on English video. I usually do only reviews in Polish of games published in Poland. So if you want to see more of my English language material, please comment below. Maybe if I get a chance, I'll start doing them in English as well. So thank you for watching, and I hope I see you soon, and really check it out. This is SUPERHOT, the card game. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!